Well, hey, good afternoon to you. We are in Kansas City. I'm actually standing on a cliff. It's a park. It's overlooking where the Missouri River and the Kansas River intersect. You can see the downtown airport, not the international airport, but there's a downtown airport in Kansas City. And you can see the Missouri River down there if you look close enough. I'll roll in some B-roll, but this place is where the Spirit led me to preach about Jesus beginning his ministry because of where he went. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So as soon as Jesus was baptized, he went into the wilderness and was tempted by the devil. And then as soon as he was done with that, these are the things that he did first. And it's important that we understand where he was and why he chose that place specifically. So we're just going to pick it up where we left off. Matthew 4, starting verse 12. Now, when Jesus had heard that John had been put in prison, he departed to Galilee. And that's where we left off last time. And leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is by the sea in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali, that it might be fulfilled, which is spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles, the people who sat in darkness saw a great light. And upon those who sat in the region, the shadow of death, light has dawned. From that time, Jesus began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So here in this region is really everywhere from the Sea of Galilee over to the Mediterranean Sea. And Jesus dwelt in Capernaum, which was on the northern coast of the Sea of Galilee. But this region was really the crossroads, and we briefly touched on it last time, but it was the crossroads, which is why I'm in this place, of the world for the most part. And this was the crossroads for this country for the longest time. If you were traveling west from the east, you came to Kansas City by train or riverboat, and then you'd get on a trail and you'd head northwest into Oregon, or you'd head southwest into Santa Fe. And this is why we're at this particular location, why the Spirit has sent me here, because what we're going to find out is that the light did need to shine there. It was such a dark place. It was extremely profitable, because if you were going into Europe from Africa, India, or China, you pass through here. If you were going into Europe from Africa, you pass through here. If you're going down to Africa from Europe, you pass through here. If you're going to India or China, you pass through here, which made it very prosperous for traders, but it also meant that it was constantly being fought over. The people around this region were constantly being enslaved and destroyed. It's just like they build up prosperity and then they'd be destroyed, and then they'd build up prosperity and be destroyed over and over and over again. So we're going to take a look at this prophecy that they're referring to here, where it said that it might be fulfilled, spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. And where we see that at is we see it in Isaiah 9, beginning in 1, but I'm actually going to go back. I feel like, sometimes when they number things, I feel like they needed to probably put 9 back a couple verses, but I'm just going to do it anyway, because this is how it was written. They didn't have the numbers there in the beginning. So we're going to go to 8:19. And when they say to you, seek those who are mediums and wizards, who whisper and mutter, should not a people seek their God? Should they seek the dead on behalf of the living, to the law and to the testimony? If they do not speak according to this word, it is because there is no light in them, and they will pass through it hard, oppressed, and hungry. And it shall happen when they are hungry that they will be enraged and curse their king and their God and look upward. Then they will look to the earth and see trouble and darkness, gloom and anguish, and they will be driven into darkness. 9:1, nevertheless. And that's why I started there, because it's nevertheless, this thing. The gloom will not be upon her who is distressed, as when at first he lightly esteemed the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterward more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan and in Galilee of the Gentiles. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them a light has shined. What he's saying is this region specifically that Jesus came to, but more specifically, it's important that we talk about that this is what is happening to the world. More specifically, I think America, Babylon It's happening. It's the trade routes. It's the place where everything changes. It's suppressed, and then the light is shining, then it's suppressed. And the world is like this. And what we're seeing here is Isaiah is saying that when people turn to the earth, when they turn to the things that they know, the things that make them feel good, the things that give them comfort and safety, this is the real danger. This is the darkness that is there. But when you ignore the darkness and you look at the light and you focus on the light, this changes everything. And those are esteemed just like this land is. Like just like this region that Jesus went to, and a light, this place, this dark region, and suddenly a light has shined there. I mean, think about it. Rome is suppressing Israel. Do you think this region is important to the Romans? Of course it's important to them. So they're massively suppressed. But a light has shined in that area, in Galilee. And that's why this is so incredibly important, because you can apply this to your life. Literally, when the darkness is there, there's a light that can esteem you. And when you're leaning on the earth, like going to wizards and fortune tellers to help you figure out why things are hard, or turning to the earth for your resources and your food or whatever the case may be, those people will go hungry. But those who live in the light. Now when Jesus heard that John had been put in prison, he departed to Galilee. And leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is by the sea in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali, that it might be fulfilled which is spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people who sat in darkness saw a great light. And upon those who sat in the region in the shadow of death, light has dawned. From that time, Jesus began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.